Good morning, everybody. How are you? Well, good morning. All right, ready to sing with me? Swing wide the doors, yes? Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors for this heart of mine. I said, swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand just what I'm here for and what life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Oh, won't you swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine.
Good morning. Today and every day, we have swung wide the doors to the presence of God, knowing that Spirit is in this place and in all places and all people. Just as this beautiful sun has awakened us to a new day, the Spirit of God within awakens us to divine glory. And this glory within and around us is everywhere we look and in every situation we encounter. With our hearts centered in Spirit, we can quiet our thoughts and meditate on the wonder of all of God's creation and our oneness with it. So I invite you now to take a deep breath. Become comfortable and gently release any cares of the day. Your sole purpose at this moment is to experience the divine. And you begin to do so now as you relax in this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. Seeing through eyes of oneness, acknowledging our oneness, we at Unity Spiritual Center celebrate and honor people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces for God, of God, many names for God, but only one God. And that God is expressing through all people in unique, special, and individual ways. As you look at the flame of this candle that we light every Sunday, remember that you too have a flame within, that you too have a divine flame, that you are an individualized expression of God. We honor the one presence and power of God with Unity's foundation statement, which you'll find on the screen behind me. And I invite you in joining me in saying them aloud together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. We give thanks for our spiritual community and for the beauty of our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity Spiritual Center is a warm, welcoming, and inclusive community dedicated to studying and putting into practice empowering principles and tools for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We give thanks that with our spiritual teachings, we can create extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationship with the loving God presence within each of us and through our relationships with each other. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with spirit, and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. If you're visiting us for the first time, and I know at least one of you is, we do have 2 gifts for you that you should have already received. It looks like you did. What we like to hand out to people who are visiting for the first time are shell lays that have a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. We had somebody visiting one time who heard me say chalet, and she thought I said chalet, and she was waiting for her property in Switzerland, but we just give out chalets. We know that being around a table gives us a sense of being in community, and so that's why you see a couple of tables in our sanctuary. On them are communal journals, so we leave them out for people to leave a passage of scripture, a reflection, a favorite quote, anything they would like to just be in community with others here. And we, of course, set up food tables. So in the hospitality room next door, please join us following the service for a wonderful hospitality spread where we will love to get to know you better. And if you or any of you ever have questions about Unity, please do contact me. I'm happy to talk about Unity in general or Unity Spiritual Center in particular. And my contact information is printed on the back of the newsletter, the new newsletter that you received this morning. I'm also going to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, who I'm really delighted to introduce to you, because he is our new center manager. Gerry Brague has many wonderful skills to offer us, including his pastoral background. Gerry is currently serving as part-time associate pastor at Forest Hill Christian Church, so we will not be seeing him every Sunday, but we will be fortunate to see him at least one Sunday a month, and we're so glad about that. Haven't finished. I'm going to tell even more about Gerry. He likes to say that he grew up Methodist, became a Presbyterian, and as a Presbyterian attended a United Church of Christ / American Baptist Seminary so that he could be ordained by the Disciples of Christ. He is very open to ecumenism and believes strongly in the ecumenical movement. He's currently working at USC on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 3, and as I said, on one Sunday a month. He lives here in San Francisco with his husband, Alan, and 2 cats, right? We haven't talked about cats yet, but I have 2 cats, too. We are so very fortunate to have Gerry join our team, so please do welcome him to USC right now. Yeah. And at this time, as we move into the meditative part of our service and prepare to raise our voices together in song, please do turn off or mute your cell phones if you haven't done that already. And I think this is Blessing to the World that we're going to sing, right, Patrick? So should they stay seated, you think, or stand up?
I'm always for people standing and
Let's
feeling the
stand
Spirit
up.
if they want to.
Let's do
been
it.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the voice of Spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
So as we continue to get comfortable in our seats, relaxing even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts now to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by our friend Lynn Gay. Here is Lynn visiting us from Washington. And we're always so happy when she's here.
Today's daily word is spiritual support. I give and receive light and love. I am so grateful for my spiritual support system, the people and practices that reinforce my spiritual understanding. Prayer is an integral part of that system. I take time each day to quiet my thoughts, speak prayerful words, and simply be. I am part of something greater than myself. Keeping this truth in my heart prepares me for any seeming challenge in my life. Knowing that God and I are one gives me strength. I build upon my support system by reaching out to people, forming friendships, joining prayer partners, and attending church services. In this way, I bolster my sense of belonging. I find inspiration to live my purpose. I also become a part of a spiritual support system for others. I give and receive light and love. John 12:36 says, "While you have the light, believe in the light, so that you may become children of light."
Thank you, Lynn. And given that it is the 4th of July weekend, I think a number of us are traveling this weekend. Some of our community looks like they've already started traveling. But I wanted to just mark the occasion with this 4th of July prayer that I found. So let us pray. We lift up our hearts, O God, on this weekend of celebration and gratitude for the gift of being Americans. We rejoice with all those who share in the great dream of freedom and dignity for all. With flags and feasting, with family and friends, we salute those who have sacrificed that we might have the opportunity to bring to fulfillment our many God-given gifts. As we deny all prejudice a place in our hearts, may we also clearly declare our intention to work for the time when all people, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, will be granted equal dignity and worth. Bless our country and be with each of us in the days ahead, that we may follow you, our source of freedom, the one in whom we place our trust. And so it is. Amen. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. We have a prayer chest that we keep in the back. You'll see it on the table along with prayer forms. And you are always invited to fill out a prayer request and place it in the box. Right now, let's just take a moment to keep those prayer requests in our hearts and know that perfect divine order is taking place in the lives of everyone represented there, and that divine love is enfolding each person. The prayer requests that are placed in the box are prayed on by me and our USC prayer team for 30 days, and then we forward them to Silent Unity at Unity's World Headquarters, where they're prayed on for an additional 30 days. As I said, we do have the prayer request forms in the back. They're on green paper, and you are always invited to fill one out. But we do have a time in our service where you're invited to make your prayers audible. This is the time to offer your prayer needs to your spiritual family here so that we can support you and stand with you. So Patrick will play the introduction to the song. We'll sing along with him. And then you're invited to speak your prayer aloud. And we will answer each prayer request by singing, "Your prayer is my prayer too."
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. Is mine. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 Your prayer is my prayer too.
I pray for healing for George Belcher.
Your prayer is my prayer too. I pray for my mother as she's dealing with her advanced age and all that comes with it. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too.
We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and to be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the feelings of connection, peace, and warmth that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community, in our nation, and around the globe. And we affirm that always and in all ways, no matter what the appearances are, divine love and divine order is everywhere present. At Unity Spiritual Center, your prayer is our prayer too. Amen.
All right, we're going to do a little song here, written by a great songwriter from England. His name is Nick Lowe, and he was around at the early 70s and the late 70s when the punk movement started to come along, and but he's always written songs about universal themes of love and loss. And this is a song that was recorded by Elvis Costello, but really it's Nick Lowe's song, and it's a wonderful song about what we need right now. It's called What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. As I walk through for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? And each time I feel like this inside, one thing I want to know, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? I walk on through troubled times. My spirit gets so downhearted. Sometimes, who knows, sometimes, oh, where are the strong and who are trusted, and where is the harmony, sweet harmony, yeah. And each time I feel like this inside just makes me want to cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, now, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh. Can you put your hands together? Can you put them together? Oh, you got it. slipping away just makes me want to cry. I said, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Yeah, yeah, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, 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 let me sing it now. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? All right, all right. I say yeah, all right, yeah, all right, oh yeah. What's so funny now about peace, love, and understanding? Yeah.
Now, there was a message in music. Really. Before I begin, I just want to say what a pleasure it is to be here, not just up front here today, but as your center manager. It's been about 4 weeks now, and it's nice to be putting faces to some of the names that I've been seeing, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. On my laptop computer desk at home, I have a picture from a church in Costa Rica. I didn't see the church myself, but I got a copy of the picture. And on the outside of this church, it says, "Please, no explanations inside the church." I'm pretty sure it's a translation issue and is meant as a request for respectable silence in the sanctuary to tour groups, but it strikes me that many churches, denominations, and faith organizations would prefer if you leave any questions and desire for explanations outside their walls. Just accept what we say and don't cause any problems. But we have a strong desire as humans for understanding, don't we? We want to know things. We want explanations. We want to have the ability to know, perceive, comprehend, and apprehend, as it says in this month's study guide in the new newsletter. And one of those things we seek to understand is faith issues, no matter what the signs on the outsides of churches may say. Many people are on a lifelong quest for understanding various faith issues, such as spirituality. And that's where I'd like to focus today. I know for myself that I've been on a search for spirituality for a long time, long before seminary, which is a distant memory now, understanding what it is, what it means, and how spirituality fits into my life. This search has led me to a variety of places. Struggling with the meaning of prayer, working on meditation techniques, being a part of faith communities, and exploring traditional ways of being in the world. Now, quite recently, I took a course through the Center for Action and Contemplation, which is located in New Mexico, on Franciscan spirituality based, of course, on the teachings and life of St. Francis. Now, this led me to some new ways in my quest of understanding about spirituality, some of which I'd like to share with you this morning. But first, some background about that person after whom our city here is named and who started the Franciscans. Francis of Assisi was born in either 1181 or 1182, about 835 years ago. He was born into a wealthy, though not noble, family. His father was a tradesman, a manufacturer of cloth, and he earned a good bit of money in that trade. Now, Francis was actually born, being a good Italian, Giovanni Bernardone, and I probably have murdered that, but was always known as Francis because his father loved all things French. He lived a rich, easy life in his early years. He was reported to have been a happy and charming, happy and charming, and was a born leader. He, as a natural leader, led a group of youths who spent their nights in wild partying, as youths in that era, and probably our era, often do. As he grew older, he set his sights on becoming a nobleman, a knight. And what better way to advance a cause such as that but through battle? He was expected to follow his father into the textile trade, but adventure called to him. When he was a young adult, in about 1202, war broke out between Assisi and its neighboring city of Perugia. Imagine going to war with a neighboring city. It would be like us marching on San Jose. Not that I plan to do that. Francis eagerly joined the cavalry to earn his glory in that battle. But it was not to be. Assisi lost its first battle badly. Many were killed, some were taken prisoner, among them Francis. He spent a whole year in a dungeon prison in Perugia until his father was able to ransom him. During his time in prison, he started to receive visions from God, an unusual occurrence to be sure for one such as Francis, because at this point he was not particularly religious. When he returned home to Assisi, he was changed by his experience, but he was not yet the holy man he would turn out to be. He had a profound experience, though, soon after his return. As the story goes, he was riding a horse in the countryside. Francis encountered a leper. The legend has it that he viewed the leper as a symbol of moral conscience, or as Jesus incognito. He jumped from the horse and embraced and kissed the leper, something that wasn't usually done in those days. It was a life-changing experience for Francis. As he rode away, he looked back and the leper had disappeared. Francis then understood that he had encountered the Christ that day. From then on, he was different. He began to spend time at the ancient ruined church in San Damiano. While he was praying there one time, he heard God instruct him to repair the church. Now, Francis took this to mean that he was to rebuild that ruined church building there at San Damiano, but there are some who later think that God was saying to fix the church in general of the time, which was in disrepute and needed repair from the corruption that had infected it. But he continued in his quest to rebuild the San Damiano church. Changing the ways of the general church would come later. Now, in order to raise money to do the repairs at San Damiano, he took and sold a bolt of cloth from his father's store. His father, of course, saw this as theft, obviously not supporting the new direction that his son's life was taking. His father dragged him before the bishop in the front of town. And if you've ever seen the movie Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon, you know what I'm talking about. The bishop instructed Francis to return the money, at which point Francis did three things. He returned the money, he stripped off all his clothes, handing them over to his father, and then and there he declared that God was the only father that he now recognized. Francis indeed did rebuild the church at San Damiano and lived a purposeful life of poverty away from greed there. He begged for what he needed, but nothing more. He wore simple clothes and began to preach, preaching about returning to God and simple obedience. Francis's new embrace of poverty and obedience was a radical conversion in an era when the church itself was tremendously rich and decadent. In 1208, Francis and his first two followers sought the advice of a priest on their newfound form of life. The priest opened the missal to three random passages from the gospel that would guide them and future members of the Franciscan order. Go and sell all you have, take nothing for the journey, deny yourself, and follow Jesus. Francis lived a life of poverty from that point on, gathering followers. He died early at the age of 44, but by the time of his death, he had thousands of followers. By then he had conversed with potentates and popes and worked to spread the word to many. Now, to know Francis's life, even in this brief description I've just given, it's important to understand the spirituality today as it's come to be. Franciscan spirituality begins at the bottom. It rejects the consumerist culture that has grown up all around us. It talks about downward mobility. To adopt Franciscan spirituality, one must recognize the ways in which one's culture affect our understanding of things like success, power, and attaining our goals. For those who follow the way of Francis, it is Christmas that's more important, more so than Easter. For it is in a God coming to earth to be among humanity that counts. God lowered God's self, as it were, according to Francis, as we are to lower ourselves. Franciscan spirituality claims that the first Bible is not the written word, but creation itself. That is where we are to look if we wish to understand the divine, to creation. Everything you need to know is written in creation. All of creation is connected by a great chain of being. That means between us and the tiniest amoeba, or even a pebble, there is a connection. And if one link in the chain is removed or damaged, the whole chain is affected or even destroyed. It gives you pause to think about that as great shelves of ice are breaking off the polar regions and species are becoming extinct on a regular basis. So Franciscan spirituality is indeed understanding that it's the cosmos that is important, not churchiness. Francis wasn't about supporting the church as a structure, but in helping others to realize that the important church is outside the walls of any building or even any ecclesiastical entity. This may not sound like standard thought through the Western world over the past several centuries, but Francis put forth what is now called an alternative orthodoxy. It sounds like fake facts, but not quite. Alternative orthodoxy is a way of being that lived on the edge of the established church rather than its inner circle. Today, Franciscans, friars, sisters, and lay people live in intentional poverty, and not only economic poverty. Its poverty is emptiness, beginning in a place of not knowing. It's poverty in the place of perfection. Many people give up on their goal of spirituality because they can't reach that goal of perfection. If you take emptiness as your starting point and don't seek to be the perfect spiritual person, you are released from the heavy aim of reaching an impossible objective. Too often we deny or repress our shadow side, trying to ignore those parts of us that we don't care for. We try to split ourselves from our shadows, but Franciscan spirituality would have you accept this shadow as part of who you are. It's all part of beginning in emptiness and starting at the bottom and rather than at the top. We recognize that each of us has a shadow side. Something we'd rather keep to ourselves perhaps, and that's okay. It's okay to keep it to yourselves. But if we deny it and try to hide it from ourselves and God, we begin to live life as a hypocrite. The word hypocrite comes from the Greek word for actor. We are acting or pretending to be someone we're not when we deny our shadow side. Franciscan spirituality would have us accept our shadows and live with them rather than against them. It's accepting poverty and emptiness and the shadows of our lives and other non-dualistic ways of being and thinking. It's understanding what Matthew Fox calls the original blessing of creation, rather than the church's century-long teaching of original sin. Before there was sin, there was blessing. The blessing of creation, when God said, "It is good," It is very good. We are all on spiritual quests, seeking closeness with the divine, each in our own way. Franciscan spirituality is just one way to approach it. But if we truly are seeking understanding, we must empty ourselves and see where the Holy One would call us. Our spirituality as people of faith is not something to be taken lightly. We must consciously develop it and allow it to enter our lives and being. It is a journey through sometimes difficult yet rewarding terrain. I invite you to seek understanding about your own call to spirituality. Wherever you are on life's journey, whether you're at the beginning, middle, or end, there is always room for growth in your spiritual being. Take that invitation and go with it. And seek understanding and explanations inside the church. Amen.
Thank you so much, Gerry. I was reminded of a quotation when you were talking. My first book, Prayers for Healing, which was published 20 years ago, I was blessed to have the Dalai Lama write the introduction to it. And in it, he said, we learn about other people's faith traditions, not so we can be converted ourselves, but because there may be a gem, a little piece, like some that you've shared with us today, that help us to deepen our own faith. So I feel like you did that, and I really appreciate it. And I know everybody now knows why I'm so excited to have you here at USC. So let's give them another big round of applause. And I want to give you the opportunity to just sort of sink into the field, the ground of being, the divine as you understand the divine. So now that Craig has dimmed the lights, I invite you just to sit back against your chair. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Feeling safe in this outer sanctuary, let us prepare now to enter our inner sanctuary. And just listen as we begin now to open our hearts to Spirit. I will read a few affirmations, and I invite you to just embrace those words silently as if they were your very own. I am present to this moment of peace and serenity. I enter the silence and become still. Turning within, I become aware of my breath, and I relax into a peaceful awareness of God. Deepening my breath, I feel peace enfolding me as I release all to God. I let go of any tension, any thought of past or future. I am present in this now moment of peace and freedom as I pray. divine light guides my decisions and inspires my path. I am one with the radiant light of the Christ. It shines from within, illumining my mind, guiding my thoughts, directing me to choose wisely. With mind and heart open to divine light, I know that right answers are unfolding before me. I listen in the silence for direction to my highest good. I am the breath of spirit, the expression of perfect life. Spirit breathes in and through me. In this time of quiet communion, I know divine life is the truth of my being, and I feel my oneness with this life. I affirm health and wholeness, knowing that my mind, body, and emotions reverberate with renewing energy that restores my body and fills me with enthusiasm for life, with faith and gratitude. I pray. My thoughts and actions contribute to a peaceful world. My thoughts have power to heal and bless. I send them out now, carrying love, peace, joy, and goodwill to people and places throughout the world. I hold a vision of peace for family, friends, neighbors, and people near and far. Thought by thought and prayer by prayer, I help transform the world. Affirming peace and love, I return now to the silence. As we begin now to leave the sacred stillness of prayer, knowing that we can return at any time to our inner sanctuary, we begin to become aware of our surroundings now in our outer sanctuary. Perhaps taking another few slow, deep breaths, moving your fingers or your feet. Let us return to the morning, awakened to the newness in our lives, ready to step forward in faith from this moment. We give thanks for Spirit, constant and unchanging, knowing that wherever we are one with the nurturing, sustaining power of the divine. And so it is. Thank you, God. Unity offers positive, practical, progressive spiritual teachings and tools that honors the universal truth in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Please join with me in saying them aloud now. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this space, this beautiful space, which you may have noticed has a new art exhibit up by my dear friend Elizabeth Gibbons, feeling inspired and enriched and close to this wonderful community in which we are a part. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected today to Unity Worldwide Ministries and to the San Francisco Food Bank. So let's take a moment now to bless our tithes and love offerings, cupping them in our hands or perhaps placing them next to our hearts as we say our offering blessing, which you'll see behind me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
All right, I'd like to do another song for you, and in regards to the sermon that we received today about St. Francis, I just got back from a trip through Europe. In particular, I was in Italy, and when you're in Italy, you've got to go see all the cathedrals, right? You have to go to them, right? And of course, we ended, the last one was St. Peter's Basilica, and man, it's impressive. Holy smokes. But was it the most reverential place I had experienced on that trip? No, it wasn't. And being raised Catholic, I'm still on the journey to trying to figure out really what does it all mean to me, right? Or what's the meaning of Christ? And there's so many different historical aspects that you see over in Europe, but it really just boils down to a very simple message, I think, what St. Francis had. And this song is called Everybody Wants. Okay, so we're all you're gonna sing with me a little bit later, I hope. Okay? Let's hear it for the drummer. Yeah. Everybody wants a little place in the sun, a little hideaway when the love's undone. Everybody needs a little heart to heart, a little spark of hope when it gets too dark. Little Madeline, she was a furious child, had a temperament running like a river wide. Where is the love that cools the heart? A little tenderness that won't tear it apart. And how this crazy world keeps spinning, spinning with the moon. And if that loneliness, it keeps winning, grinning like a loon, I need to know you're there, that you and I can bear whatever the world wants to show. Oh, it's 50 years in, and I'm still looking around for a place in the sun, a little hallowed ground, the center of the earth, the eye of the storm. Pick me up, a little can of corn. And how this crazy world, it keeps spinning, spinning with the moon. And if that loneliness, it keeps winning, grinning like a loon, I need to know you're there, that you and I can bear whatever the world wants to show. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da, la da da, la da da da, la da da da. Now here we go. Call response. You ready? Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. I said everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Can you stand up now? Everybody wants lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Oh, everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Sing it again now. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Keep it going now. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. Everybody wants a whole lot of love. Everybody needs a whole lot of love. 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 Yeah, hey, hey, hey. Give yourselves a hand. You did a great job. Yeah. Yeah. We're trying. Dave, I want to say thank you. I know Michael's such a great musical director. I really appreciate letting me come in. Thank you. I feel like I'm getting the hang of it now. Possibilities that are ours to choose. Filled with a mighty faith that empowers and frees us to live our divine purpose and serve our community with excellence. And so it is. Amen.
I'm going to use the mic, Marcy. This is on. I want to thank all of those who are giving service today, including our ushers, Craig Veal and Kelly Veal. I want to thank Marcy, who just turned on my microphone, not only for working the soundboard, but also for doing these beautiful slides that you have seen behind me and see behind me every single Sunday. It's such a beautiful ministry that you've started, Marcy, and we just want to thank you for that. Let's give her a big round of applause. I want to thank our dear friend Lynn Gay for giving us such a beautiful rendition of the Daily Word today. I know Sylvia is in there with the kids. We'll bring them in for a moment. Ron Willis for his percussional help. And also I want to thank the hospitality team. I don't even think they're in the sanctuary anymore because they're working hard to prepare a wonderful meal. But if you flipped ahead in your newsletter, you know that they are getting the Shining Star Award this month. So we'll wait until we have them back to be able to formally acknowledge them. But let's give them a round of applause too. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you so much for your service because that's what keeps us running. That's what being a part of a community is all about. So I just want to make a few announcements. We are continuing with our book study class through Tuesdays in July. It's from 6:30 to 8:30. We've got a number of people here today who are attending that. It's just a really lovely way to be able to talk about unity principles, have wonderful discussions that sometimes go in interesting directions. You know, I'm not like sticking to a strict course plan, and we've had some great conversations. So if you want to be part of intimate gathering where we have great, deep, and juicy discussions. Come join us on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. We are also going to have another guest speaker next Sunday. I will be here, but this is a guy who we were going to have last year, and now he's coming to visit us next week. He is an author who's done a lot of work on cultivating divine intelligence, learning how to really listen in and tap into your inner understanding. So it goes well with our theme this month, and I think you'll want to be here for him. I'm blanking on his name. Do you remember what his name is? It's in the newsletter. Yeah, thank you. Paul O'Brien is coming next Sunday. We are doing another open mic afternoon. So for those of you who were here for the last one, I see Marcy nodding her head. It's really fun. It's just a really fun way to get up and share something with the group, with a room full of kindred spirits. The last one we did, because we've switched to the afternoon format, we got some kids, which was so adorable. And so some of us read poems, some of us read manifestos. Lisa, I hope you'll come and bring part of your novel in progress. But we had a little boy share hopping on one foot. I can't remember some of the other ones, but it's always a great time. It's really fun to just be with others in our community, see what some of their gifts and talents are. Elisa, looking at you too. So I hope that all of you will consider joining us right after the service on the 15th to share in our open mic night or open mic afternoon. Let's see what's going on. We also are doing, July is actually a pretty packed month. On July 30th, we're going to have Anton Miserak and his partner, his life partner and music partner, come back to give the Sunday service. They'll be doing both guest speaking and the music. They're going to follow that up with just an impromptu, casual concert after the service, so you can go grab something to eat and then come back in for a wonderful concert with Anton and Laura on July 30th. Ron? Oh, thank you. Gardening Day. So I actually misspoke because Gardening Day is Saturday, July 15th, isn't it? And so the open mic afternoon is the 16th. I thought I got the date wrong when I said that. Gardening Day, please join us for just beautifying our grounds. We have such a beautiful inside, and now we want to work together to make that outside look a little more manicured. So from 10 to 1 on Saturday, July 15th, we're doing a gardening day. Come for as long as you can. Come for an hour or come for all 3 hours, but please do join Ron and Valerie for that and talk to them if you can come and if you have any questions, right? So, lots going on. Pick up your newsletter if you haven't already. If you have already, then study it and make a note on your calendar for all these exciting events. It's going to be a great month. So, with that, we will bring in our kids.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.